When two car bomb explosions killed 6 activists in Boulder 50 years ago, law enforcement claimed the activists blew themselves up.
But friends and family of those who died are questioning that theory. Denver 7's Angelica Albaladejo looks into how law enforcement surveillance and disruption of Latino civil rights activists might be connected to these deadly bombings.
We
were very visible. We were pretty mad, pretty loud. We never suspected, not in a million years, that it would end the way it ended.
Deborah Espinosa and her husband Juan were protesting at the University of Colorado Boulder when they learned 6 friends died in 2 separate car bomb explosions in the summer of 1974.
It was terrorism. It created fear in our lives. But the pushback is that they were the terrorists.
Federal law enforcement called them very active militants who blew themselves up. Official reports linked the explosions to student protests. But 50 years later, the Espinosas still wonder why the deadly explosions happened.
If our friends were led to dynamite, and if they had evidence prior to, if we were being surveilled, it should have been stopped. They could have been arrested and charged with having explosives. That didn't happen.
The FBI's COINTELPRO counterintelligence program, I still think that what happened in Boulder was part of that program.
The FBI says it used COINTELPRO to infiltrate groups, sow discord, and discredit their efforts.
When you say COINTELPRO and the Civil Rights FBI, you think Malcolm X, Martin Luther King. We were all under surveillance and all being targets.
Dr. Jose Angel Gutierrez is a Chicano activist and lawyer. He's written more than a dozen books about the FBI's counterintelligence against Latinos like him.
I just found another COINTELPRO that no one else had dug up before. The Mexican-American militancy file has surveillance nationwide. Every Mexican group that was doing anything, even if it was helping Girl Scouts sell cookies, they still surveilled them.
When it comes to the activists who died in Colorado,
I would be super shocked if there was no involvement with COINTELPRO, the FBI.
Dr. Brian Beankin also studies how the FBI surveilled Latinos.
We know that there were informants in just about every group. To think somehow Boulder got left out of that, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Through informants, the FBI could compromise activists.
If we set these folks up to do something wrong and then we can arrest or kill them, then we can eliminate the movement.
Beankin says the FBI carried out several plots like this. In January 1972, in Albuquerque, New Mexico,
a police confidential informant encouraged 2 of these Black Berets, Rito Canales and Antonio Cordova, encouraged them to steal dynamite. There was a police sting operation, an ambush, and when they went to steal the dynamite, they got shot and killed.
Then in Denver in 1975, Joseph Cordova, who admitted in court he was a police informant,
encouraged 2 Crusade for Justice members,
Juan Jaro and Antonio Quintana,
to be involved in this bombing plot, allegedly to bomb police substations.
Setups like these beg the question:
would they have done what they did but for the intervention of law enforcement and these confidential informants?
What has always troubled me is that there has been an incomplete historical record.
That's why U.S. Congressman Joaquin Castro is asking the FBI and CIA to release records from that time.
I'm confident that we'll get new information that the public has not seen.
New information, those close to Los Seis hope will clear up what happened.
With all the investigation that was done and all the allegations that there were others involved in these bombings, they never charged another person.
Federal law enforcement interrogated many in the Chicano community, including the sole survivor, Antonio Alcantar.
They had a grand jury. They never published any conclusions.
With so many lingering questions, there's one thing the Espinosas are sure of.
They died so that more kids could go to school. That is their legacy, whether you call them a terrorist or activists or revolutionaries.
Or victims.
Or victims, yes.
Reporting from Boulder,
it was all for education.
I'm Angelica Albaladejo.
You can dig deeper into this story and watch or read all of our previous coverage on Los Seis on our website, denver7.com.